to ClevelandMoto podcast number 371. Light them up, boys. And they're off. So tonight we're doing a Cracklecast. We're back outside. The sun's shining for at least another 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was literally snowing a day ago.
Right. It was snowing, and now it's not. And now it's delightful out.
So we have to take advantage.
We do. And to my immediate left is...
Oscar. So I was taking a sip.
and Oscar is now...
A green card holder. And drunk.
So yeah, you're now official.
Official.
You're no longer working on a temporary work visa.
No.
Living on a temporary work visa. Now you're an official resident alien.
Yeah.
You know why you got to say alien?
A permanent resident alien.
Permanent resident alien.
Mexican American.
Yeah. And to his left,
Steve Sleepy.
Sleepy's been working at the shop this week, so he's got to see how the other half lives.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just volunteering.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Right, he's helping out.
Yep.
And then to his immediate left,
Johnny Mac.
Yeah. And to his left,
Steve Hoffert.
Yeah. And one of the reasons that outside Cracklecast, you're going to get some ambient noise, and it's been a while, right, since you've had some Ambien. It's.
Well, I have it every week before I come to the podcast.
We can tell. It's absolutely that. What you doing? Yeah.
We can hear you. You just can't hear you.
Right.
That doesn't say number 4 on it. Who's got 4?
Yeah, we got number 4 over here.
Can you crank number 4 for me?
Would you like some more? Would you like some more in your headphones? There you go. That's it. All right.
Fucking diva over here.
Wow, man. Yeah, that's all. That's good. That's why we do sound check. Yeah. That's it. Right.
Perfect. He didn't have his headphones.
Can you hear it?
I can hear it when you talk nice into the microphone.
Right. Oh, nice. Oh,
who knew?
Converts. Oh, wait. That's my key off my Super Cub. Yeah,
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you just said there.
I got my key off my Super Cub is just kind of hanging around here waiting to blow away. It is this week has been a week for me shuttling bikes from the house to the from my garage at home, getting them here, and then getting the cars because the snow finally stopped. So I've got cars where bikes should be and bikes where cars could be. So you go into my garage for wintertime, my house, and you can't fall over in there. I mean, it's tight. So. But different things got to move. But the moment of joy, if you notice that I sound lighter, it's because I think I lost about 4 tons of weight this week.
Yeah.
Because we sold the Mazda Bongo Friendy camper van, the pop top high top. It's not just a pop top. Nope, it's a high top pop top Mazda 4-wheel drive camper van.
Was it the guy from Michigan?
Well, it was the guy from
Denver.
Boulder, Colorado.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Boulder, Colorado. And I will say, hand to God, as they say, I have never worked harder to sell a vehicle. Jesus. So his passion was great. He saw it listed on the internet. He had an idea what he wanted. He knew what it was. He wasn't our average buyer that's looking for daily transportation for the kids. He was legit, knew what the fuck he wanted, knew what it was, knew the things he needed to be aware of, like a turbo diesel. You should really be wary of the head gasket, because sometimes those might get overheated in some point in their life. Coolant management is an issue with turbo diesels, especially things that are under 3 liters, like this one was. But he contacted me and fired the fuck up. And we had that thing listed for $11,000. I listed the price of the vehicle a year ago before prices went crazy, right? And I never adjusted my price up. So the price, $11,000, never changed. And I had bought that because I had great ideas. It's going to be COVID. The shop's going to be dead. Merritt and I are going to be able to go do some camping in the national parks and stuff. It's a perfect vehicle for that. And then COVID happened, and we didn't slow down. We sped the fuck up. So I didn't have any time to go play around in the national parks. I just was here selling bikes, doing my job. So never used the fucking, bought it, never used it. Went through everything, did the brakes, did all the fluids, really went after it, gave it some kind love and attention it needed.
That white van's got a lot of fluids in it.
It does. Seminal fluids. Yeah, that's right. That's exactly a lot of DNA in that white van and the astronaut sex chamber. But so what was funny, and this is when I knew the guy was serious. He said, well, my dad is going to come down from Ann Arbor, Michigan, to bird dog this thing. Now, that's 3 hours each way and change. So your dad's going to drive down here from Michigan to look at this van that you're considering buying. Golf clap. Well fucking done, man.
Yeah.
That's, you're a buyer now. You're not fucking around. You're my guy.
And the dad was what? He was like a super mechanic.
The dad's a super mechanic.
Yeah.
So the guys,
that's why.
the dad's all into taking Subaru Foresters and putting WRX STI motors into them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's his jam. Yeah. So, 6-speed transmission, the whole deal, and making a sleeper, So it looks like a Forester, but it's got, balls for days. So the dad comes out with his wife. Super nice people. But he has no problem laying on his back under this vehicle.
Oh, I saw him. He was like, whoosh.
The dad's a straight up auto mechanic. And he's also no stranger to old Japanese cars. And he checked everything. And I lived in Germany for a while, and I have had what the
Germans?
Well,
The Germans.
So one time I had my dad check out something for me in Pennsylvania.
yeah.
It was a Jeep Grand Wagoneer, and I had already owned one, so I had I knew what they were.
You knew what you were after?
I had seen it one time when I went down there, and I'm like, oh, that thing's good.
Yeah.
Now, it was, to be warned, at the shitty fucking car lot. But I just figured it'd end up there because nobody was too interested in owning a nude-colored Grand Wagoneer.
What color is it? Flesh.
It was flesh. It's actually like a tan. It was the weirdest color, but it's a factory color.
Right.
So I gave my dad a jingle and said, hey, go take it for a drive. And
Yeah, check it out.
sure enough, so he drove it and everything. And
Yeah.
he's, oh, it's tip-top. It sounds good. You should get it.
Right.
So I paid not much money for it.
Right.
Well, I go down to pick it up, and I start it up, and it's going... And I'm like, I drove it up to his house, and it was sitting there idling. I had zero oil pressures. And I'm like... Fucking dad!
Right. What'd you do?
What the hell?
Right.
I'm like, the only thing I could think of is
like, Gotcha.
Gotcha, bitch.
Did he blow it up on the test drive and just didn't want to tell me?
Or did
somebody-
he never went? He just was on the couch like, yeah, I checked that out.
Fucking doing donuts
Well,
in the parking
maybe-
lot.
That
It's like
thing
you
for
at
you.
work. Maybe he just
Hey,
never
did you
looked.
get that? Did you hose that tank? Yeah,
I mean-
I hosed that tank.
Here we go, guys. Look at
I resent any implication that you're making, you motherfucker. But anyway, so
the dad
anyway,
comes
this
out-
guy's actually legit.
Oh, this guy was great. So this guy and his wife were great. Open the top up, deploy the wings, like all the things it can do. Hit every button. I want to make sure every switch works. And at some point, I'm like, this is a 27-year-old vehicle,
Yeah.
It ain't going to be perfect, and we're not charging you. This same vehicle is available at Duncan Automotive for $24,000.
Jeez.
And this is $11,000. You got to give me a little slack here. So the dad does...
Well, so if you find something wrong with it, duly noted. Thank you.
Right. So the dad goes over it with a fine-tooth comb, and it's all the stuff. Open the floor up, show him the motor, the whole thing. And then at some point I was like, all right, well, you put about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours into this, but I'm not going to get in your way, and I don't want to be helpful Harry, and be like, oh, this salesman tried to, no. This is your inspection.
Do your thing.
This is your thing. You're doing this for your son. Right on. Took him for a test ride that couldn't be beat. Had the thing up to over 85 miles an hour. Just kicking it right in the guts, and it's just doing fine. No overheating after it's running for about 45 minutes. Bring it back, everything. The dad is super happy. Meanwhile, he's got the kid on a FaceTime call, face call for like an hour, right? So the kid's virtually there.
Yeah.
So, okay, this is great. Dad gives it the 2 thumbs up. This thing's great. Buy it, right? So, son makes arrangements, buys airplane tickets. Not just him and his wife from Denver. I pick him up at the airport yesterday in the van in question. That's a classy move, right?
Yeah.
Pick him up at the airport, bring him back here. That's, 20-minute drive. On the freeway, 80 miles an hour, all that stuff. So, okay. Well, then I realized the son, dad's inspection was but a trifle. Dad's Dad's inspection was clearly just an appetizer.
You were out there for a long time.
I couldn't believe. I mean, I thought this guy was going to come in. Dad gave this thing the seal of approval. I didn't say kid. He's
You
not the
already
kid.
flew all the way from Boulder.
He's in his 30s.
how are you
right?
supposed to get back?
Okay.
Oh.
You know that some Ford vehicles and Mazda vehicles, the spare tire in the back is held on by a cable, and there's a jack or a winch,
And it's
the
always
winch
rusted.
holds the tire up and down. So he's going through the whole vehicle, and he goes, "You got an air pressure gauge?" "Yeah, I got an air pressure gauge. No problem. Give you an air pressure gauge." So he checks all the wheels, and I'm not an idiot. They're all full, 32 psi as they should be in the door, and he checks the spare.
Yeah.
And it's one of those little space saver spares underneath it. And those are supposed to be 50 or 60 PSI.
Right.
Yeah.
So he checks it. He goes, "It's only 40."
Okay.
And you can't even get to the valve on those things. I mean, literally, the valve is pointing up at the sky. I mean, that's spreading to the gods. That's not something you can get to real easy. So he's like, "Well, all right." So he's like, "Well, I'm gonna lower this tire." Look, I have been in 2-year-old Ford vans on the side of the road with a blown tire, and when somebody says we got to lower the spare, I'm like, "Fuck it, you got to call AAA.
Yeah, because they ain't
We're gonna be here all
Cut
day.
it off. You have a sawzall? You can cut
Right.
the chain.
We're going to have to cut that cable the second we try to use it. It's never going back again."
Right.
But being a Japanese vehicle, wouldn't you know, it worked.
Oh, wow.
It worked.
Although on the Tundras,
Yeah.
they just fell off.
They just would fall off. Exactly.
No, it was a recall.
Oh, I
It was
know.
a-
Believe me, I had one, yeah. But it was
My Kia has one of those, and I can hear that going, go, go, go,
go, go, go, go.
Yeah.
So they lower it, and I was like, "Oh, fuck that." So I went and got a bottle of, chain lube and cable lube,
Right.
and came out, and I was like, "Well, since you got it down," and I gave him my little, electric puffer,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Ryobi inflator. So I give him that, and I'm like, "Well, hit that, but when you're doing it, might as well lube everything while you're down there." So I give him mechanic chain and cable lube, and, I'm like, "Don't you dare put that back up without greasing it."
Right.
And he's like, and he's a super nice guy. So he puts it back up again, and I'm like, "Wow, that was extreme." "Okay, well, we want to make the top go up and down a bunch of times." And I'm like,
Oh, jeez.
all right, man. So we do everything. Full dog and pony show. 2 hours. And they're out there, they're reading the owner's manual. It's in Japanese, dude. Don't lie to me. You're not reading it. You're pretending, right? Every word in this manual is in Japanese. And they're going through the manual, him and her. They're crawling around, lifting up the carpet
They're trying to break it just before they
before
bought
they
it.
take it on the cross-country trip. So the idea is, the tires on it, tires were only like 5 or 7 years old, but they were, So I said, well, he goes, "Well, I'm going to have some tires, and I'm going to have the tires waiting for me at my dad's house in Ann Arbor, and then we'll get it up to Ann Arbor, we'll change the tires, and we'll do the rest of the trip on new rubber." I said, "That's a great idea."
Yeah.
Don't have the tires shipped here. No, I don't want to hear about that. So here they are, and I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to walk away from these guys because clearly they're doing their pre-trip PMCS.
Right.
That's preventive maintenance checks and services for those who aren't into that kind of thing. And so they're doing it by the book, clearly. I have seen 737s take off with less of a walk around, right? This was a full annual service that happened in front of my shop. And so he's like, "Okay, well, let's take it for a ride." And I was like, "Were you not here for the trip from the airport in?
Yeah.
Did you miss that?" Because we were on the freeway going 80 with the AC on.
What you didn't know, well, you were out there doing that.
Yeah.
We were all taking bets inside whether or not they were going to actually buy it. And so we're like, wow, this is taking a while. And then you could see you turning red a few times.
Yeah.
And we're like, ooh, what's happening out there?
I came in a couple times and I was like, "What the actual fuck?" Like, seriously, what the fuck? And I knew everything was perfect in the vehicle. I mean, everything was perfect. He's, smelling the oil and, licking the belt and all these, different weird shit. And I'm like,
Did you get a magnet out just to see if there's like any movement of the fucking oil sideways?
So I'm giving him paper towels. I'm giving him baby wipes. I'm totally supporting his
He
endeavor.
was sniffing the seat like, who ate tacos?
So I was like, so he goes, "Okay, well, now we can take a test ride." Okay.
They're so adverse to risk.
Yeah.
This is what happens
Yeah.
when you have to take a chance.
Right.
And
Exactly.
anything in life is a chance, but
Right.
they are so afraid that everything's not going to be perfect that they have to be. I think it's a mental illness.
and you're
it should
buying-
be a
yeah.
new mental illness.
And you're buying an $11,000 camper van
That's 25 years
that's
old.
25
Right.
plus years old
Right.
and expecting nothing wrong. But so he goes, "We're going to take it out for a test ride." I go, oh, this is going to be one for the books. Nobody's ever going to have a test ride like this. So we left the parking lot at about 5,000 RPM. And I locked out the gears in every step. So I'd run it up in first gear and then foot off the gas and let that thing engine brake, put their faces through the windshield, right? And then get up to the light at the corner. And I told them, I'm like, okay, everybody hang on tight because I'm going to let go of the wheel and I'm going to crush these brakes. So I let go of the wheel, and I crushed the brakes, and everything in the back of the van went to the front of the van. Everything, just
Including them.
It was awesome. It was great. And stood it right on its nose, got the ABS to fire on dry pavement. Made a 2-wheel turn onto Warren Road, and then proceeded. He's like, well, he goes, shimmy it left and right a little bit. And I went, we're going rocker panel to rocker panel,
Game
man.
on.
And this is a super tall vehicle with a very high center of gravity. So I did feel the inside rear wheel lift up at least once. And they're like, okay, that's good. I was like, you guys want to go on the freeway? Yeah, we can go on the freeway. He's like, okay, great. I took the on-ramp at least 75 miles an hour from the surface streets onto the on-ramp. Did an amazing test ride that couldn't be beat. Brought it back here. I think his wife may have peed a little in the back, maybe. Brought it in, backed it into the spot, Rockford style, right? And just was like, I think there's a lot of life left in these keyboards, gentlemen. And if you know the movie, you'll know the movie. But he came and he goes, oh, but while we're on the drive, he's like, well, can at least you put a full tank of diesel in it?
Oh.
I think that's exactly what he did.
That's yeah.
I was like, when we get back to the shop, I've got a very comfortable hat. It's a remarkably comfortable hat. And it'll come pre-fucked.
It might come in handy later when you call me on the road halfway to Colorado.
Well, he celebrated today.
So today, so I did not buy them a tank of diesel.
Good man.
No way, man.
No, that's
That's a dick move. That's
not even a request
Oh,
you should have made.
They tried getting 500 off, and meanwhile they're buying this remotely. And like, dude, if you and your wife bought airplane tickets to come out and buy something, I'm not going to give you a discount. Well, I had to buy airplane tickets.
I don't give a fuck. It's your call.
You didn't have to do anything.
Right.
When I flew down to Dallas to buy a Honda Hawk and rode it back, I didn't tell the guy selling the Hawk he had to pay for the tires I had to replace because I bought it as is where is. I didn't say he had to pay me for the airplane ticket I had to fly down to Dallas to pick this thing up. Fuck that, man. That's just, you know what? It's I don't care how nice of a person you are. It sends a bad message to the seller that, like, now I don't want to help you. Like, now I've really, and you nailed it, John, when you were like, well, you know what? If you make my life hard on the front end, I'll make your life tough in the middle. And that's really what it is. I mean, I think that's the name of the game. So, but the good news was today we did a celebration because we passed the 24-hour window.
Nice.
The 24-hour window closed. And I was like, yeah, it clearly did a great job. It clearly was the world's best Mazda, Bongo, Friendy van ever sold by ClevelandMoto.
So was that a 2-liter?
2.7?
2.7?
Yeah. Oh, beat up Previa. Torn up Previa. I've been spending the past week basically just trying to buy Previas. I have 2 Previas now, and I just bought another one. And I love Previas, man. You can hate me all you want, but it'll haul 2 medium-sized motorcycles in the back. It's aerodynamics as a son of a bitch. I think they look beautiful. I think they're aesthetically pleasing, and it's a brilliant design. It's an absolutely cool, and that 2TZ FE motor is genius.
It's a laydown, isn't it?
2.4
Isn't it a
liter
laydown?
laydown motor, yeah. Right, 2.4 liter Toyota motor that'll run forever. So, and I got another, this one's supercharged, the one I've been driving, but I just got another turbo diesel. So, yay me. And that one's all-wheel drive. So these things are going to be, when these things get here, I'm going to be super happy.
I wish you could have got the Bozuka van or
The Boso Zuku van, the last Boso Zuku van that I didn't buy today.
You are not in the mic.
Yeah, tell me if that comes on.
It's on.
It's on? All right. Yeah. Tell me if you guys can see that screen.
It says Energy Star.
Oh, okay, so we're not there
There
yet.
you go. Yeah, you're
Right.
good. You're good.
Hey, Sleepy, you should change the exposure on the camera.
I did.
He did. He got up and did it.
I know, I'm just fucking.
That's great. That's so cool. But so here's one of the things I really, really wanted you to. I wanted you guys to be aware of. But there are still good motorcycle deals out there. I was shocked. We have a gentleman that came into the shop and we're selling his 2006 Moto Guzzi Brava 1100. And that 1100 motor from Moto Guzzi is a fantastic motor. It will run forever. And the Brava is not a sport bike, not a standard. It's totally in between. It's one of those. But can you guys see that now?
Nope. It's still the old
It's
PLC.
it's an extended screen, not that's not cloning.
Okay.
It's
All
an
right.
intermediate PLC.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, anywho, I don't know why I thought we were connected, but anyhow, but the Brava motorcycle, it's just one of those bikes. It's just a very good, honest.
There we go.
You got it? Okay.
Yep.
So, I found this when I was trying to help this guy figure out, because we're selling it on consignment for him, so we're trying to figure out the best price for it, and we found on Cycle Trader of all things. One of my California friends probably needs to hook this bike up. So this is a $3,000 motorcycle. And I'm saying it's $3,000 or best offer for a fuel-injected 1100cc with a Corbin seat already on it, with a windshield already on it, some soft luggage already on the fucking thing. And it's in California. So it's in Santa Rosa, California.
Okay.
If you are talking about just getting a fucking airplane and fly out to Santa Rosa, buy this thing, offer the guy $2,600 because you had to fly out there.
Right.
He's got to cover you for your airplane ticket because that's the way it works.
Right.
isn't it?
Full tank of gas.
That's what they expect, and a full tank of gas. Thank you.
Yeah.
But there's no
Diesel.
Yeah.
So this motorcycle costs less than a Buddy 125
Yeah.
for
1100.
for an 1100 fuel injected bike from this century.
Is that a windshield on it?
Yeah, it's got a windshield on it. It's got bags. It's the whole deal. And you could have a fantastic bike that you could tour and you could hit all the high spots and really have a good time. And it's got a fancy aftermarket exhaust system. It's a cool bike. And for somebody who wants, it's 20,000 miles, so it's not even beat to death.
They hired the BMW architect for that dashboard.
It's so that dashboard is every Aprilia. So if you have an Aprilia from the late 90s to the early noughties, right? That particular dashboard appears on all of them. So I don't care if you've got a Tuono or you got a Grezzo or whatever. It's got that, the digital screen looks like somebody divided the top left corner of it.
They're trying to have dimensions.
Dimensions
like
to
the
it.
first
Yeah,
one
exactly.
in the back.
Yeah, it's very, very, But again,
It's like an Escher drawing.
it is.
You should have had a fourth one so it looked like you were always going.
But the idea being, it's a totally cromulent bike that you could do tons of distance on.
You get pulled over. You know how fast you're going? No, I don't.
What did your Speedo read?
Left.
Banana. The Speedo said banana, so I think that's 75.
Yeah, right around there.
Right. When you get to strawberry, that's 80.
Yeah.
So it really is. That's a great bike for $3,000. And people said all the cheap bikes are gone. There's no more cheap bikes. You can't get a deal on a motorcycle. You can get a deal on a motorcycle. That's a really
In California, nonetheless.
and that's what kills me. It's in
Yeah.
California. Yeah.
That's probably because you can't license it anymore because it's not .7 or whatever it is.
It does have an aftermarket pipe on
Yeah,
it.
right.
That's
Gotta
California.
crush it.
Off-highway use only.
Yeah.
It's got no HV sticker,
No
but it's a
street
green
legal.
sticker, so you're okay. So I thought that was hilarious. I really got a kick out of that. So that's badass. So cheap bikes do exist. They're still there. Now, if you're closer to Cleveland and you want to buy one here with 11,000 miles on it, we have one in the showroom that is fucking tasty. You can eat off of it. And again, I think we're probably going to sell it for around $3,000.
Really?
So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So if somebody wants a really good V-twin touring bike, yeah. And it's got fuel injection. That's pretty cool. So, yeah, that's a cool thing. And I thought it was fun because you don't see good cheap bikes anymore.
Man, obviously we've talked a lot about carburation and fuel injection. But if you want to like dyed in the wool proof of how better it is just starting a brand new buddy that has a carburetor and starting a brand new buddy kick with the injection.
Right.
Like by the time you push the button on the kick, it's already running.
It's already running.
The other one is like.
Well, the trick was you'd have to charge the battery for 2 hours trying to start a brand new one out of the crate.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're like, if you didn't get lucky, but you can tell bikes are a good manufacturer when they're consistent.
Yeah.
So we at the shop for 20, not 20 years, but since 06, we could tell you that if you uncrated a buddy scooter, once you put the battery in it, you put the gas in it, you could literally give it like 4 pumps because it has an accelerator pump.
Three pumps.
3 pumps.
1, 2,
Yep.
3. Hit the starter. Maybe give it a little gas. Whoa.
And then, it would give you like 18 dugga-duggas.
Yeah.
So it'd give you like after 3 pumps and a half throttle, hit it, and it would give you 18 dugga-dugga-duggas, and then it starts right up.
Right, but compared to the fuel injection.
No, the fuel-injected ones start.
It anticipates.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm running. Oh, okay, yeah, we're running.
It's exactly right.
Yeah, it's pretty
it's
impressive.
so true. It is. It's really fun. It's really cool.
You know what else I didn't know?
Yeah.
Is that you actually own a time machine. Because you get here at 10, and then you look up and it's 5:45, and you're like, wait a minute. I thought it was 1. Like, what the fuck
Well,
happened?
yesterday you didn't want to get out of here. You thought it was 4 o'clock, and
I
I'm
know.
like, we close the shop at 6. And because now we're appointment only, we don't really need to stay open till 7 anymore.
Right.
And so it's like, okay, well, we don't need to be open till 7. So he's trying to wrap up this last bike he's working on.
Yeah.
And he's like, what time is it? And I said, it's 7. And he's like, holy shit. Oh my God.
I got in trouble. My wife was like, where the fuck were you? I'm like, I thought it was 4, dude. I don't know.
You just tell her volunteering for no money.
Right,
know.
exactly.
I know.
Why is your wallet so thick? It is not thick.
no.
Those are coupons, baby.
Yeah.
I'm pinching pennies over here. Don't you think for a second I'm making money.
Right.
Yeah. So I thought it's been great having you at the shop. It's been absolutely fantastic.
fun.
Yeah.
See, I didn't think it would be. I'm just kidding.
No, you know what, though? You know
I
what?
thought you'd be tired of them by now.
No, but you know what I've learned? I hate fucking corporate jobs. Like I feel like I'm doing something instead of just sitting at a desk, fucking sitting there turning into a sloth.
Right.
Like, it's fucking horrible.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. And it is funny because when you work in this environment, you're on your back, you're laying on your back, because James likes it that way. He likes to be on top.
Yep.
You're
doing burpees,
you're crawling around under bikes,
Yeah,
like
The Vietnamese squat.
the Vietnamese squat. The first 2
in the
days
right
he's here,
thing.
I'm like, I have several low destroyed office chairs that are perfect
Oh,
for
they're good.
prepping bikes. And because I'm old, I don't want to lay on the ground to prep a bike or be on my knees to prep a bike. And I just get on the knees for the customers. That's all. Yeah.
Cinch is very comfortable on his knees.
Yeah, I have. been.
Completely.
They're so callous now; it doesn't even hurt. So
Yeah,
it's nice.
It is fun, but the shop has been bonkers, and this has been the thing. But I gotta tell people that I know winter didn't officially end until like a few days ago, like a day ago.
Yeah, yesterday.
But our winter storage program, we used to make those winter storage program end at April 1st. But then we were like, the seasons have been shifting a little bit. We're going to let them go till April 15th. We're going to be really kind to give them an extra half month. And it has been hard to get motherfuckers to come out and pick up their bikes.
Yeah.
And so this weekend, we've done a thing where we're calling all the people that have winter storage bikes, Chris Smith, and telling them
So these bikes that are sitting outside, they stay outside till the customer
till
picks
the
them
customer
up.
picks them up. That's right.
What? 2 of them are Smith's bikes.
Yep.
Look, yeah, but Chris is by far not the worst offender. But what I think is funny is the calls went out today. They're like, look, Saturday it's going to be 75 and sunny. You have no excuse to come and pick up your bike, and you've gotten a week of free storage. But Tuesday, we're going to charge you for those days back to the 15th. So if you pick it up Saturday, you get a week for free.
We cool.
We cool. But if you pick it up on Tuesday, you owe me $25 a day times 8.
So that's what today we were looking at these charging stations for like Teslas and whatever.
Yeah.
So there's one in North Olmsted, I think, or
Oh.
North Ridgeville,
Okay. Yeah.
and they charge you 43 cents a kilowatt.
Right. Correct.
But
Yeah.
if you have a 10-minute grace period to remove your car once it finishes charging,
Oh, really?
if you don't remove it,
Right.
they charge you 40 cents a minute.
Get the fuck out of here.
No, they charge you 40 cents a minute to have your car sit in that space.
That's good. They
yeah,
should.
I mean,
Makes
which
sense.
they should. I mean, 'cause-
Yeah.
and it reminded me of that story you told me when you were
Right.
with the people that just go and park and walk away
Yeah.
for like 10 hours
Right.
and then they leave their car in the
Oh, I agree
spot.
completely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you should be punished for that. That's
Yeah.
some bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some awful, awful bullshit. Like, nobody should do that. It's a rotten thing to do. Yeah, so I really, I just, oh, man.
Ooh, that's sweet.
That is the
Ooh.
world's worst Scooby van.
Yeah,
Toyota
now we're
Hiace
talking.
came out of some corporate environment, I'm sure. Came out of some warehouse. But anyway, the,
Phil,
get
have
that
you,
one?
no, I didn't get that.
Phil, have you heard of the CAAC2002.com? That's it's like a coast-to-coast challenge for electric bikes. Kevin's doing it right now, and
So, yeah, we should talk about
Really?
that. Because this is
And
the
I don't
Charging
really-
Across America.
I haven't talked to him
Right.
about it, but I was going to call him at some point and see what's up.
Right. And
He's
so-
running chase for somebody who's riding a bike. I almost think it looks like an Energica, but I'm not sure. It might be a Livewire. I'm not.
No, I think they're
it
doing,
was blue.
They're doing an Energica. He's running an Energica SS9, the same thing that we're running, right? And that thing, the Charging Across America thing, they're doing a motorcycle ride, and they're doing the same route as the Cannonball Baker,
Oh.
the original Cannonball.
Right.
So they're starting at the Red Ball Garage in New York and going out to L.A.
yeah.
So that's fantastic. But one guy's doing it west to east, the other guy's doing it east to west. The problem was the other morning,
Yeah, it
there in
snowed.
Pennsylvania, it got 6 inches of snow.
Right.
And so, you're out there, and first of all, you're riding a motorcycle. Second of all, you're riding an an electric motorcycle.
And your range went down to 10 miles.
Absolutely.
Right.
Plus, it's the frostbite, It's that whole just completely hating life. And that, that idea of just being miserable. Now, they have a live tracking app, so you can follow Rob and Steve as they're doing it, stay up to date with what they're going on.
Yeah, if you go
tell
to CAAC2002.com,
Right.
and there's an app, you just click on it, and then
Yep.
it gives you the username and a password to sign into the app.
Right.
And you can track the
You
riders.
can really get right down to the granular level and see what they're up to. But I mean, that's a hell of a thing. So, riding across America, and Robert...
They're trying to break the record of 178 hours.
Right. Yeah. And Steven he's held many electric motorcycle records. So he rode from Florida to San Diego in 93 hours. That's the first person to break the 100-hour barrier. He beat Electric Terry Hirschner's time. And Steven has done that already. And he's using an Energica EVA or Eva Rebelle. So that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
And then the original Cannonball, though, is 500 miles longer than Steve's trip from Florida to California.
It's from New York.
Because he's got to go from New York.
From up- yeah,
And
yeah.
that New York is essentially a diagonal run.
Right,
So that's
right.
the thing. And Rob is from the East Coast. He does Energica, super good guy. Runs a place called Rob's Dyno Service. And so he does a lot of tuning, all kinds of cool stuff. And I love this idea that one guy's going west, the other guy's going east. Shame, and I guess today's update was that Rob was enjoying beautiful weather in Colorado. Just gorgeous. Couldn't ask for better weather. So he's moving with the nice weather.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause the front did come from that way.
Steve had to face that fucking blizzard straight head on. So I was watching pictures of him in the chase vehicle. He's like, I can't feel my hands. He's like buying all those little pocket hand warmers.
Jeez.
It really sucked. So he chose the short
I'm
straw
really
on that
surprised
one.
he decided to do it so early in the year. Like,
I would have thought July.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, unless there's some reason that you need to do it right now.
Right.
And I think part of it could be that, and I'm not going to go out on a limb, but they did some big promotion thing in New York City outside of the New York Stock Exchange with the Energica motorcycles there, and they had a red, white, and blue Energica motorcycle made in Italy, go figure.
Yeah.
But they had that out there because, this... the new CEO, the new owner of Energica is Ideanomics, which is Vince McMahon's son, I believe Sean McMahon.
Sean McMahon, yeah.
Sean McMahon's company.
Shane.
Thank you, Shane McMahon's
Yeah.
company. So there was a bit of a dog and pony show in New York City in conjunction with the announcement of their ownership of the company. So
Should I ask Kevin if he wants to call in or anything, or no?
You can, absolutely. Yeah.
I'll text him, see
Ping
if he wants to call in.
Because we have the technology. We have an extra microphone, too. So we can make that happen. So really fun the idea of these guys kicking ass and going cross country like
Kevin
Nixon, my
Kevin
buddy
Nixon.
from college.
Yeah.
He's a director for the East team.
And he has no sense of smell.
None at all.
It's a very strange thing.
He fell, hit his head like dropping a log on this, and just wiped out it. Ruined I guess it wouldn't be the optical.
The olfactory.
Olfactory nerve.
Yeah, the olfactory nerve. So he can't smell.
Claim to fame.
It's a very interesting thing to know about somebody.
Once he gets past the smell, no problem.
Oh no!
He doesn't have to get past the
doesn't have to
smell.
get past the smell.
Yeah. When in doubt, send a scout. Well,
You know who else is lucking out this weekend is Dan Halstick, or however you say his last
Halstick,
name.
yeah.
Halstick, because he has the Motosexual scooter rally this weekend.
oh, really?
And the last weekend, if you know, what I mean, like 1 week difference, it would have been like
Yeah.
fucking 4 inches of snow, and now it's going to be
jeez.
75 in Cincinnati.
wow. Yeah, no kidding, man. And that's the Cincinnati rally's going on this weekend?
This weekend,
Oh, man.
it's the Motosexual rally.
That, yeah.
WKRP Motosexual rally. I wanted to go really bad, but
Yeah.
kind of early. Kind of early in the year.
Yeah, and so that's called Motosexual, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it
It's
is.
on Facebook.
It is a little early in the year for that.
bit.
And that's April 22nd through April 24th. So by the time the podcast listeners,
Yeah,
it'll be over.
yeah.
I'm sure it was a great rally.
Yep.
And I do love WKRP. I really do love that rally.
Mm-hmm.
It is historic. 1 year it snowed on Sunday when we were leaving.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was pretty brutal. But for me personally, there's no way I'm going.
Yeah,
Right?
you can't. There's no
Yeah,
way.
Sleepy has been watching me work every day, and I could not miss a day.
Well, no, it's funny. Like all these years, you tell stories. You're like,
Right.
oh, it's fucking crazy. Blah, blah, blah. And you're like, okay, it's Phil, so there's probably a little bit of exaggeration here and there. But this time, no, it's fucking nuts. Like you're turning down calls because you're already talking to somebody. There's a
Right.
dude at the door. Renee's handling somebody. James leaves his part thing to take a
Yeah.
dude outside that didn't get the memo about fucking appointments.
Oh, and people show up all the time. They're
All
like,
the
oh,
time,
okay,
yeah.
well, I'm here to pick my bike up. Yeah, you guys got ramps? Like, yeah, we got ramps.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, except for the fact that my truck is lifted 21 inches,
Yeah.
and it has a tonneau cover that's made out of mercury
Yeah.
and unobtainium and carbon fiber, so you can't scratch it. And I have no idea how to take my tonneau cover off.
Or the old guys that
Right.
bring an entourage with them, like Kenny.
Oh, you know
That's
nothing
it.
about that because the door is
The
locked.
door's been locked.
Imagine like 2009 or 8
Oh, I
when
can't.
we just
can't.
killed it and the doors were wide open.
The doors
People
were wide open.
It was like,
and
oh my God, you're
every
tripping
day-
over customers and stuff.
Every day it would be several
I'd be
waves.
working on a bike and somebody taps me on the shoulder. I'm like, whoa, you're not allowed back here.
How did you
know?
get back here?
Did you see the sign and the
Right.
rope crossing?
Well,
Yeah.
signs and ropes don't mean
They
anything
mean
to people.
nothing. No, but like we had one guy come to pick his bike up, and he brought an entourage of 7 people with him.
And they're 70 plus, all of them.
Every single one of them. Yeah, every single one of them was well over 70 years old. Yeah, and it was just, but
And he was convinced every used bike in the shop used to be his.
yeah.
The
Oh, he
Tiger,
straight up,
the
no.
thing, like he was like, oh yeah, that's
he's
my
straight
bike.
up pointing at bikes and being like, "Oh, so where'd you get that? Did you get that from a guy named Harry in Bellefontaine, Ohio? Because I know that's my bike. I sold that to him in '91.
Right.
I'm like, sir, that's a 2006.
Oh wow! So physically, the bike's not saying I used to own one.
Right. No,
That's
he thinks
probably
that's his.
mine.
No,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
straight up
Wow,
said
that's
that was
baller, dude.
his bike.
And his wife was pointing at stuff in the store, like,
Oh, no.
Kenny, look at that rug. And he'd be like, yeah, that's a rug. She's like, oh.
It's a rug.
Oh, someone was stripping acid, man.
I was seriously
Very rugged.
I thought for sure when I showed back up, because I was out doing a thing.
Yeah.
So I was out, entertaining the world's longest test ride, and I came back, and it literally looked like somebody had airdropped an old country buffet onto my parking lot.
And the smells.
Oh,
the smells were
man. And the one guy's like, I need a bigger jet for my P150. And I'm like, okay, what size jet do you need? Bigger. Yeah. I'm like, well, what do you mean a bigger jet? I put a hole in the piston. Well, then you need a number of things, my friend.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But a bigger jet is just one of the many things you need. So, sir, what size jet do you need? Let me go in the back. I'll get you a jet. Well, bigger. And I'm like, okay, all right.
Here's the biggest jet I could find. Have a nice day.
Exactly. And this is what and so it turns into the game of 75 questions where you're just like, okay, sir, what year is it? Okay. And what number's on the side of the vehicle? Right? Okay. And so based on those numbers, it should have a 110 jet in it. Right. Oh, no, I'm pretty sure it's got a 96. Okay. Well, it
That's
could
your
be a
problem.
96 or it could be a 96 or it could be a 235. I'm pretty sure it's not a 235, sir. But if it was a 96, yes, you blew the motherfucking hell out of that piston.
Yeah.
There's no way it could have run at all. You blew the living shit out of it. So you will need a bigger jet. So what size jet do you want? Bigger. And I'm like, oh. So when they left, I just told the guy, I was like, look, it's a jet. It's fucking $6.
So who actually bought the motorcycle or the scooter out of that group? Somebody bought a bike, right?
What's the nicest way to say it? The thinnest guy, the thinner guy.
Oh, the smaller
thinner
guy.
guy,
Yeah,
the smaller,
yeah,
thinner
yeah,
guy,
okay.
right? So he bought the bike and then brought all of his friends with him from, the Old Country Buffet. I'm going to pick up a motorcycle. Who wants to jump into my 26-passenger van? Right. I think that's what it is. They probably called a shuttle bus. Actually, they're old people. It was probably free.
Right.
It was probably the old
Paratransit.
paratransit. It was exactly right. They put up the bat signal and the paratransit showed up.
Yep.
And that's paratransit, not parrot transit for all of our bird people. But it is fucking hilarious, though. So after all this thing happens and I go back out and, do the world's longest test ride thing, come back in, and I'm having this discussion with James. I'm like, yeah, dude, the guy told me he needed a bigger jet, but he refused to tell me what size, so I couldn't help him. And James is like, I sold him a 125. And I was like, how did you come to that conclusion? He's like, well, he told me that he had a this, and this, and a that, and he eventually was just like, oh, give me a 125. And I was like, well, that's for a bike with a cylinder kit and all kinds of oomph going on. And he goes, that's what a guy told me. He told me a 125. I went back, I got him a 125.
Yep. Done.
Okay.
Too much fuel's not going to hurt.
That's exactly
True.
right. The bike will
True.
run forever with a 125 main in it. Yeah. It'll be a spark plug consumer, but, it'll be a fouler of many spark plugs. But rock on with his bad self. Go get it.
Though, in all of his audacity of being what he was,
Yeah.
he did have an Ace of London or an Ace Cafe of London patch.
He had a patch on his jacket.
Yeah.
He had an Ace Cafe patch on
That's
his
cool.
jacket.
Yeah. I was like, wow.
Well, the funny thing is we had a guy in here the other day that was probably 136 years old. And he's walking around the showroom and the whole deal. And he's like, yeah, I need a pit bike. So, okay, I need a pit bike. Got to get a pit bike. And he kept saying pit bike. And I was like, all right, you fucking threw that out there enough time. Here goes. What do you need a pit bike for?
Yeah.
Oh, I drag race motorcycles.
Yep.
Sure you do. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
And he goes, I drag race. Where do you race? Oh, I race at Norwalk, Dragway 42, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Okay. Questions I regret asking.
What?
What's your ride?
Yep.
I got a Hayabusa. And I was like, huh, okay.
One of those guys.
Yeah, I got a Hayabusa, turns 10, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, I'm pretty sure they do that stock, so. I was like, no great feat there. I'm pretty sure if I just went and rented one tomorrow, it'd do that same goddamn thing. Going back about 20 years, probably the same number. If you make it to the end of the track, I think that's what your ET is.
Yep.
So you're good. And he goes, but I didn't say anything mean. And so he did. He looked around the shop, and I showed him 15 different bikes. He didn't have an appointment, so I had to show him 15 different fucking bikes. And so eventually, he went over and sat on that used Zuma we had, and he's like, it's too tall. It's too tall. Got my ankle shot off in Korea. And straight up like,
He was cotton.
dude was short, not a tall guy.
And
So-
it's shorter on one side.
Shorter on one side, walking uphill. But what was funny was after he left and I'd showed him all these different bikes and kind of had him dialed into a bike that fit him very well, he called up and he goes, that used Zuma you got, yeah. Is that really a 2022? Yeah, it's 2022, man. It's brand new. It's got 800 miles on it. Still got a warranty. If you do it for $2,700, I'll buy it. And I was like, did you fall out of a fucking tree, man? It says $3,200. We don't negotiate on
new bike.
anything. It's a brand new bike. You're saving $800, $900 over going to the dealership and buying it. So
That doesn't probably have one.
that doesn't have one. Thank you. So I think what had happened was he'd gone home, called around to everywhere,
Yeah.
and then said he tried. He couldn't sit on the Zuma. It was too tall for him. He couldn't sit on it. And he called back and he goes, I'm coming to get that Zuma. I'll be there in an hour. And he straight up came and got the Zuma, paid us cash, the whole deal, and then tried to negotiate again 2 or 3 times while he was here in the showroom. Folks, I'm going to tell you, I don't care how good of a negotiator you are. It's 2022. People will not give you a discount on bikes that haven't arrived yet.
Right.
If you see a shop that's selling something at a discount, trust me, they raised the price before you got there. There is an implied dropping off point. If they're giving you 500 off, they put 500 on before you got there. Like, that was a trap. You fell into it. That's it. There's nobody discounting bikes right now. There's no reason to discount a bike right now.
My new favorite thing is I'll be sitting there just working, and I'm overhearing him talk or something
Yeah.
like that, and he's like, "Yes, we have no idea when the bikes will come in.
Yes.
We just can order them." And then people are like, "Oh, well, can you tell me and estimate what day it's going to come in?" And he's like, I can't estimate it. I don't know when it's going to ship." "Well, I'm sure you can just tell me a day that you think it's going to come in." And he's like, "No, I have no."
It's going to come in a Tuesday.
And then he was like, finally, you were like, "You could pay me $55,000 right now, and I can't tell you what's going on."
Hey, Kevin, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, Kev, what's going on?
Hi, everybody. Are you guys live right now?
We are, buddy.
Yes.
We are. Yep.
Well, I'd like to introduce you to Rob Schwartz.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. So
Doing good.
How far did you make it?
How far did you make it?
1,000 miles, not far enough.
Not far enough. 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
So where are you at right now?
Heading to you.
You're heading to me?
Well, sort of. I mean,
That would be awesome. We'd love it.
I mean, if you left the Red Ball Garage and you've made it 1,000 miles, you might be west of Cleveland.
Are you west of Cleveland?
we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Almost
I
Chicago.
think we left we're probably 30, 40 miles east of Elkhart.
Oh yeah.
Indiana.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
That's where we be.
So you're still rolling though, right? You're still heading west.
No. They don't know. No, you don't know what happened today.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah, we're heading your direction because we're done. Yeah.
Huh? How are you done?
Well, you tell them. Yeah, we were driving along, following Rob. We were on a really long stretch for the battery, so we were taking it slow, and we're going down the highway, and out of the blue, I got smashed from behind by a container truck.
Oh, shit.
Bounced off the barriers, flipped on its side, up into the gully, back out of the gully. It was a hot mess.
But you're still here talking to us, and I'm assuming you're not in the hospital.
No, I'm driving.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
So-
unfortunately,
Obviously not that truck.
yeah, that truck's totaled. Yeah.
Truck's total.
That's a powerful motorcycle.
Wow.
Yeah. So fortunately, Rob was able to find a truck to rent. So we threw all our gear in the truck and we're heading back.
Okay. So you're not going to just try to rent a truck all the way across. That'd be expensive. And yeah, you're going to head back. Huh. Well, that sucks.
Hey, so Kevin, your chase truck got hit,
Yeah, Chase truck is destroyed.
and so were
Destroyed.
any of the bikes involved?
The bike was
If
not
you-
hurt.
If you go to the Facebooks and to the page,
Yeah.
the group for the CAAC 2022, you'll see a post up there with some photos of what happened.
Oh shit.
Damn.
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And but the good part is Stephen Day is still going for the record,
Right.
and we just passed him in outside of Elkhart.
That's right.
And with any luck, he should be around a little over 100 hours, and he'll now hold a new record going cross country on an electric vehicle.
So he's going to come in under 178.
Oh yeah, well under 178.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Well, good for him, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, he broke 100 hours earlier today, I think.
But the thing is we've had nothing but bad weather and nothing but issues.
Yeah.
We heard about snow in Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 2 days of snow.
And south of Cleveland, we showed up at a Walmart where they removed the charging stations a week before.
Oh, fuck.
So we actually went to 5 different places that had them. 1 or 2 had slows. 1 couldn't recognize us, and we eventually found a fast charger. So we, were able to do it. But I mean, it's just been challenges along the way the whole time.
Wow.
That's insane, man. That is crazy.
Oh man.
It's cool. It's been a great learning experience. It's definitely the future for sure. It's
wow, we're looking at pictures of the container truck on its side too.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh,
That is tragic.
dude, I am so glad you're okay. I mean,
Oh man.
mostly okay, I guess. I mean, you got to be feeling a little stoved up.
No, I'm okay. Fortunately, neither of us, myself or my navigator, knew it was going to happen. He tried to avoid us, bounced off the guardrail, and hit us after he expelled a lot of the energy into the guardrail. And didn't hit us straight on, he hit us on the corner.
Sideways. Yeah.
So it was just a glancing blow, and we weren't rigid. So neither of us really are that banged up.
Was he speeding?
What happened? I mean, was he coming in hot, speeding or something like that? Or, I mean, shit.
Lost the brakes?
It seems likely, but we don't know.
Wasn't paying attention for one thing, but he got taken away in the ambulance. Well, Kevin, to tell you the most important part, Kevin cut him out of the truck.
Oh, shit.
And got him onto the ground.
Oh, you cut his seatbelt, had to drag him out?
Yeah, he was hanging, like a spider from the,
sideways,
the truck on its side, windows out. So I climbed.
The door was ripped off.
I climbed in there, put my knees under him, and cut him down, and gently, dropped him down and stuff. Wow. I was concerned about fire. There was oil everywhere.
Oh yeah, we're looking at the pictures. It's like a fucking oil slick on the road.
And dirt and everything.
Kevin, you got balls as big as church bells.
You got balls as big as church bells, Phil says.
Dong dong.
Yeah.
But we were talking on our cardos, and all of a sudden I heard and then nothing, and I was like, what the fuck? So I looked back, I'm already 5 miles away, and there's no cars coming. I'm like, this can't be good. So I pushed my bike on the side of the road, pushed it out off the road a little bit, and I started walking back. And the more I walked back, and I'm like, oh fuck.
Wow.
And and there's no doubt that shut down westbound.
That shut down. There's no doubt that shut down westbound.
At least 2 hours.
Yeah, it was a few hours. It was over 20 miles back up. We made all the channels in Illinois. Yeah. It was all over the media. It's like, oh, Jesus, here we go. And then never mind everybody that's watching us live.
Yeah.
And then they see the accident in Indiana. They're like, that's the team. And I'm like, oh, here we go. So,
and there's also live tracking going on. So there were some people. One guy called me and said, I saw the bike turn around and go backwards, and I knew something wasn't right.
Oh, fuck.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's crazy, man. That is absolutely crazy.
Hey, we should talk about the successes of it. It was a good proof of concept. It's pretty cool. The bike's awesome. I'd want to take it out and rip around on it.
Hey, real quick, I'm going to pass you over to Phil. He has a couple questions.
Hey, so Kevin, basically what I was going to say is, so you guys are in a new truck. You're in a rental truck right now. You're headed eastbound, right? Yep. So you guys know you can just, all you got to do is stop in here at ClevelandMoto and get our Energica we have. We got an Energica SS9 that just showed up the other day with bags on it and a windshield and everything. Wow. Go west, my friend. Go west.
I've got one. We got one in the back of the truck.
Yeah. the bike's okay.
The bike's fine, right?
They need a chase vehicle, I guess.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Oh, man. Well, I got to say, hats off. You guys are freaking heroes.
Yeah.
It is amazing the whole idea, I mean, we understand the timing with the New York event and everything else, and like that launch and everything, but wow, right into the mouth of a blizzard.
Just take my ambulance.
Yeah.
I can give you a $500 Ford F-150 that I just bought off Bruce.
Here at Nerdica of New England, go big or go home.
I know, right? That's exactly right. Yeah, that is.
Big, going home.
I'm telling you, I'm not kidding one bit when I tell you that the whole thing, the whole idea, the running cannonballs west to east and east to west at the same time, it's madness. It's amazing. It's completely awe-inspiring. I'm very happy for Steven. He's going to be able to pull that off. That's ridiculous. I think that when he beat Terry Hirschner's time, I think everybody knew the gauntlet was thrown. And this what you guys are accomplishing, this event, this is astronomical. I mean, this is a big deal.
Yeah, well, we'll see what we're going to do next year.
Yeah, I'm.
We're not going to do it on Earth Day. So,
No. No, it's going to have to be like the Distinguished Gentleman's Run, where you're going to have to do it on the opposite part of the year to get better weather.
Yeah.
Happy fucking Earth Day.
Yeah, happy fucking Earth Day.
But I bet your Nerdica doesn't have what mine's got on it.
Oh, what you got?
We got frame sliders. We get axle sliders now.
Oh, boy. See?
We got tank bags.
Yeah.
Real tank bags, not ones that sit there with bungee straps.
Right. That's cool. And you know what? The new Energica, this year's Energica being so much lighter than last year's bike, it really has changed the personality of the vehicle. It's really nice.
Yep.
So very impressive. I mean, we obviously, we like our Energica around here. Really, really love the bike. But the difference between the bike that I rode just before COVID hit, when I went out for a demo in San Jose, versus the bike that we uncrated, a couple of weeks ago, it's dramatic improvements. I mean, it's really a different bike.
Oh yeah. No, it's the programming of it is phenomenal, and with any, I'm hopefully within the next 6 months, I'm working on with the company called DynoStar. We'll be able to dyno all the Energica bikes and see all the real numbers.
Right. Yeah.
Of what's going on.
Well,
Not
that's
what they publicize, but what the real numbers are, and we can diagnose and repair anything in the bike at the shop.
That's
now.
cool.
Your whole shop is known. I mean, that's your shop. That's what you guys do. And that's a great resource to be able to throw that at electricity, to be able to bring that idea of tuning, something that has been established for internal combustion engines forever, but nobody's even licked it in the way of electric vehicles. And to be able to optimize that, that's great.
Well, that's why we like to stay above, be on the cutting edge.
Oh, Robert, man, I got to say, I'm so happy that Kevin was behind you.
True. Yeah.
I'm so happy that you weren't drafting him at that moment. Because, a lot of stuff that John and I have done, we've slipped in behind that truck or slipped in behind that van to cheat the wind a little bit. And in that case, when James and I went cross-country on the 125, we had the van behind us with a whoop-whoop light on it because it was we were moving at 20 miles an hour slower than the traffic around us. And so we needed to have that safety behind us. And that was what you guys went through was exactly our nightmare when we were doing our cross-country run.
Yeah, it's and now I fully understand people's charging anxiety.
Oh yeah, range anxiety for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
How did they do
anxiety.
range?
Yeah.
Like, how did they
I
overall?
fully get it. I mean, because with Kevin, needless to say, Kevin and I go back almost 20 years, and he's one of my only trusted friends that I wouldn't do anything in this life without him, because I know he's got my back and I got his back. And without his help on this event, because he'd always chime into me on our headsets, hey, what's your percentage, what's your range, how do we got to go, hey, you better cut it back a few miles an hour, or hey, let's speed it up a few miles, we got some extra. You really need that when you got to concentrate on everything else that's going on.
You're not kidding. And the biggest thing, too, is we all talk about that highway math that we do. So that math that we're going down the road and we're going, okay, well, if I do this a little bit slower, I can eke another 5 miles of range out of it. And we've been doing that on gasoline-powered bikes on cross-country trips for years. But then on electric vehicles, you get that wild card of you show up and somebody removed the fucking charger. You know?
Better yet, the charger doesn't work.
Right. That's another thing, too, is that whole idea of saying, okay, well, you know, did we bring a Tesla adapter so we can get in on somebody's destination charger or something? Like, there's so many variables when you're dealing, and that's what a cross-country trip's not just a cross-country trip. When you add in variables like you're doing it on an irresponsibly small bike or if you're doing it on an electric motorcycle, like the balls get bigger every time you throw one of those variables in there.
Oh yeah, and then never mind if you get a headwind, because on this last jaunt we had, what was it, 113 miles or 110 miles to go?
110.
I was doing a comfortable 50 miles an hour, and I was holding it to have my range, and
Right.
then all of a sudden I get a headwind.
Yep.
I'm now down to 80 miles, and I get 90 miles to go, and then I get down to 75. And I'm like, oh, here we go.
Wind resistance
Okay,
is a cruel mistress. Yep.
Yeah, and then let's cut it back again, and I cut it back. You know, the minimum speed limit on the highway is 45. So I says the minimum I'm going to go is 47.
Right.
And
Yeah.
to make sure that I'm covering that extra.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So nobody can complain, and that's when he got whacked.
Yeah, well, and there was probably a 25 mile per hour speed variance between those two vehicles, and look what happened.
Easily.
You know?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That is insane. But I know the feeling. These bikes are meant to get crazy range when you regenerate your braking, when you regenerate your coasting. When you're on the freeway, you ain't regenerating shit.
Correct.
Yeah.
And this was nothing but long and straight road. And then, like I said, then the headwind came up, and I'm like, oh, here we go. We're
Well,
all
then you
done.
knew you had to tack into the wind at that point. You knew you were screwed. Yeah. There was nothing you could do at that point. Oh, so
No.
Rob, man, when you get back home, we're going to talk about that cool ramp you made for your truck.
No, I didn't make it. I bought it.
You bought that rig?
Company called-
Dang.
Yeah, it's called Lodall. They're out of Michigan.
I
It's-
have some serious ramp envy right now.
You should seriously consider getting one.
Yeah, that
It's
thing
beautiful.
that thing looks like a work saver right there. Yep.
Yeah, and the neat thing is, if you want to use it as a workstation,
Yeah.
he sells a different set of legs that are taller.
Yeah.
And you have now a big workbench.
Yeah, you make a world's biggest, well, or a stage for your rock band.
There you go.
Man, I'm so glad you guys gave us a call. I mean, this is a big deal, but we did not know when we started the podcast. We had no idea that you had to have or try to have butt sex with a 18-wheeler. That was
There we go.
well, they saw what Kevin was wearing in it. They, you know,
He was protected.
he was protected. Oh my God.
It's fitting. Dodge Ram.
Dodge. The truck driver was just following instructions. Oh man. So I guess from now on you're only going to be getting Fords, or yeah. The
No, sorry,
so
I'm a
Dodge man.
away.
Well, you guys, absolute heroes in our book, total legends. Well done, and I just can't say enough. I'm so happy though that Kevin didn't get that y'all didn't get screwed up in the crash. So that's a big deal for us.
That's the big thing.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. Well, you guys have a safe trip home, and anything we can do to help, let us know.
All right, thank you.
All right, Uncle Philly.
All right. Be good, man. Take care. All right. So that's it. So apparently, you know, objects in the mirror may be closer than they appear.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I got an exclusive.
yeah, we got an exclusive. That was it. So that was from the
still
Charging
there,
Across America Challenge team.
And we're just talking about him.
Yeah, we were just talking about
Oh,
Rob
man.
and Kevin.
Blue. That's crazy that
That's-
just happened. Man.
Well, and that's another thing. Whereas if you're doing a cross-country run, make sure you got a chase truck.
Yeah, no
Right?
shit.
Yeah.
And in this case, make sure the chase truck is prepared for
Impact.
rectal assault.
Dude, he had to cut the driver out of that truck.
Yeah.
The fact that
Crazy.
after Kevin was the victim in a car crash,
Right.
that Kevin then got out and jumped into an extremely hot, extremely
Possibly
dangerous,
burning, yeah.
possibly
Yeah.
burning 18-wheeler on its side. And yeah, you look, there's 50 gallons of oil spilled out on the surface of the road, and Kevin got in there and cut that driver out. So we always knew Kevin was an awesome guy.
Oh, no doubt.
Right. Kevin's a badass. But the fact that he jumped into that after being the victim in a crash. So I'm very happy that the race bike, the bike doing the competition, was well in front. But yeah, you think about the difference in
fucked up.
speeds
Yeah.
for an 18-wheeler to flip over like that. It had to be
Jeez.
dramatic. It had to be dramatic. So wow. So that's that. Wow. So
So
good
that's
job,
that's your thumbnail.
yeah, right. There's your thumbnail. Right. Yeah, that's an 18-wheeler taking a nap. Yeah,
And that's the driver.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's very hard to argue. Well, so what happened there, buddy? I don't know, man. I just looked up and there was a truck.
Right.
And it says
Yeah.
ran me.
Right, it said Ram on the back. Yeah, so
I did.
Yeah, so,
So
I
I
did.
did, yeah.
I figured since I was here. But you can see where that
Damn.
truck, you can see the damage to the roadway
head, yeah.
and everything else. That truck was on its side for a minute.
Yeah,
And,
that's crazy.
Yeah, so that was a lot of energy in that crash.
But on the bright side, there's another container for my compound.
Hey, you know what? Fuck you, Steve. I'm just thinking about one of my shipments is in that container.
I was going to ask, what was in the truck? 'Cause
It was Vespa parts I've been waiting on for 6 months.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, that looks like a truck full of Moto Guzzi parts, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, Darren.
It's the one guy that's called 57 times in 3 days about where his fucking bike is.
I'm not joking. You guys, if you do not want to be working at a shop right now because we have had parts that are no shit, which should be normal parts, on back order for 4, 5, 6 months. And we got bikes on lifts. We can't do a damn thing with them. And we're calling every other shop in America like, hey, do you have these particular valve guides? Do you have these particular parts? Because at this point, we'll spend any amount of money just to get the damn thing out of our shop, just to get it off of a lift. But when those parts, when you order them, and then a month later you order them from somewhere else, and then a month later you order them from somewhere else, and you realize nobody has them.
Right.
And people were just taking your money and lying to you about having them. You know, there's nothing I can do with a bike that's already taken apart. I can't put the bike back together again with bad parts in it.
Yep.
You know?
And in December, you have 92,000 valve guides.
I was going to say.
For the same bike.
Right. So yeah, when I end up with a 1.5-year supply of, you know, or when they all show up at the same time,
Yeah.
that's going to be great. So yeah, that is a no bueno situation right there. So yeah, that's really something. That's absolutely wild.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I mean, who expected that? We thought we were going to get the, hey, yeah,
I
we're
had no
heading-
idea.
I honestly figured, based on the timing, that they'd be like a couple of hours west of Chicago.
Yeah, right.
You know,
Yeah.
based on the updates. But then, what a bite in the dick to like, according to our charge point app, there's a level 2 charger at Walmart.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not there anymore. And then there's a charger there, but it's not working.
Well, if there's anything we could do for him, I would. You know,
Believe me.
I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I chimed in on this thing when they were traveling. I was like, if you guys need to stop at Cleveland, even just to hang out or have a meal, we got you. But they're trying to make time. I mean, that's a hard challenge to make in a car. You know, that's a
I
hard thing to do.
suspect they just want to get home, so they're probably fucking trying to fly home to the East Coast. Get
And
there.
Kevin's not even started hurting yet. Like
Yeah.
he's in crash adrenaline right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's still in crash adrenaline. If he's like, oh, I got away clean. No, you didn't. Look at that truck. Yeah. That truck's totaled. There's no way that truck's getting back on the road again. I mean, the truck they were driving. That Dodge Ram is upgefucked. You know?
And you tweak things that you don't even know you tweaked.
Yeah. Oh, your body's going to hate you.
If I had to crawl in an 18-wheeler and cut a guy out, I'd be sore the next day, I'm sure.
And,
Yeah, no
you know
shit.
that the 18-wheeler landed on its right-hand side, so that guy was elevated 5 or 6 feet off the ground.
Yeah, that's what he said. He was hanging like a spider.
Hanging like a spider, so Kevin had to either go in through the windshield.
He said the glass was gone.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure the glass just went away in the crash. So, I mean, he had to go in and, like you said, hold the guy up with his knees and cut him out.
We need a breaking news, like,
Yeah, that's a serious breaking news situation.
It
So,
was on
Take that,
CNN Plus.
Misfits.
Oh, wait.
so now we're going to wait a week to publish it.
yeah. Oh, shit, I'll edit this.
Get this out quick.
Special edition. This is
Special-
coming out this
Get
weekend.
this out right now. Absolutely right now. So, yeah, that's wild. That's crazy.
I have breaking news.
You do.
I'm still awake.
You're breaking wind.
break like the wind. Yeah, that is quite something. That's all we're gonna say.
I wanted to give some props to, well, I guess it's not really a podcast. It's a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And I think you've watched some Vice Grip Garage.
Fuck yeah!
Oh, yeah.
Vice Grip
Yeah.
Garage.
Like,
he's awesome.
I've been
Yeah.
watching a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Turned Steve
Wonderful.
onto it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I like that guy.
He's great.
He reminds me a lot of a friend from Canada, but
Right.
I think he's originally Michigan or
Oh, he's a northern,
I
northern
think he's
guy.
in Wisconsin.
I think it's Wisconsin. Yeah.
Wisconsin, then
Yeah.
Michigan. Now he's living in Tennessee. Is what
Yeah.
I can
There
kind
you
of
go.
make of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but Jared's cool. He started out small too. Like
Yeah.
for a long time, he had like 1,000 subscribers, and then
Yeah.
one day,
He's up to 5 million now.
Yeah,
Yep.
and he's being invited to participate in a lot of really fun
yeah, the
events.
Freedom Factory
Yeah.
with Cletus McFarlane and all
Yeah.
them dudes, and the
a
Diesel
lot of cool
Brothers
shit.
and all that shit.
Yep.
Yeah, I just like his only job is like I go resurrect a car and get it running.
Right. But he's
And
got,
but he does the whole inventory of the inside and all the
Yeah.
bullshit. and everything.
Steve
It's like,
and I-
it's everything we've already done.
Right.
You know, everybody
Yeah.
does
Yeah.
when you get a car.
Steve and I, when we're working together, Steve will be like, "So what you got to do is you just got to get in there with just hook it right.
Give it a little
just give
and,
it a little
Yeah.
crank, and
Get
a
the-
little crank, and get the flaminator
get the little
working.
whirly
and the
thing going.
sparkulators got to go to
Sparkulators gotta
the
sparkulate.
fire
Yeah.
makers.
Believe me, between AVE and Vice Grip
Yeah, we
Garage,
got
there's
the
a
lingo.
whole separate language going on.
Yeah.
I was wondering if somebody fired Oscar.
No, yeah,
I thought he was going to get him and start making the fire.
yeah.
The
Oh
spark-
yeah, what happened to the fire?
The
Well, I mean,
Spark-
we have cardboard right there, so we have all the stuff to make a
John's
fire.
the fire guy.
the spark hoses.
The spark
Yeah, the spark
hoses.
hoses.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah,
Hey, do you have to readjust the light level on that thing?
I did already.
Yeah,
but
at dusk.
my favorite thing is like he's like, so this car's been sitting here for like 25 years. It has absolutely no brakes, which is fine. Fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Fine.
The brakes are always the last thing he checks.
yeah.
So it's okay. It's fine. So I'm glad that we had an opportunity to bring that shit out.
Yeah,
and,
that was cool,
yeah,
man.
talk about
That
that.
was
It
crazy.
big time. So the with Mid Ohio coming up, so that's a thing that we are going to be doing. You guys, if you have ever said, I'm thinking about going to Mid Ohio, this would probably be a good year to go. I think that one, because COVID's hopefully over by then, and that it'll be, everyone's going to be coming out and crawling out from under their rocks. Last year's was epic. Last year's was great. And what happened is I think this year is going to be epic-er.
I heard there's gonna be a lot of hot chicks there this year.
There's going to be. They're flying them in. Right.
Honestly, I think there was an uptick last year, and
I do
you never.
too.
I mean, like it was pretty cool.
It was
Yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It was very cool.
Creepy John was just giving young girls drinks as they walked by.
Whoa. I was just trying to be hospitable.
He was being
You
hospitable.
know, women finally start showing up to this thing. Let's make them feel welcome.
But,
and like, you
but
know,
I
hey.
think you started a tradition now where we're going to have the bourbon fairy night.
Absolutely.
I totally agree.
I think it might even involve a costume or something.
Yeah,
this
That
next
might be.
year.
I do
You
think.
you need a cape.
I think the bourbon. No, I think the bourbon fairy needs wings.
Oh, wings,
I need,
right?
I
yeah.
need wings and like LED lights
Yeah.
and stuff. And I am the
Absolutely.
bourbon fairy. I've may come to make your bourbon dreams come true.
I do want to give you guys a
I would like to get this bike running. Well, come see us tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At 7:30. Now drink this.
We'll grant one wish.
We'll grant one wish. Yeah. Go talk to the bourbon fairy. Yeah. Yeah. For that is one. We're extremely excited about this. This is going to be great.
But if we're going to go that far, you might as well put him in a 5-point harness and hang him from something. So he's just dangling
Cherry
in the air,
picker.
a little-
We'll mount a cherry picker on
Yeah.
a quad and just drive around.
in a leotard.
Oh no.
So, do you guys want to hear any feedback we got from our Patreons?
Yeah.
All right, here we go, guys. So, our friend again, Dave Osterday.
Oh yeah.
Not yesterday.
Osterday.
Osterday. Okay, fellas, real content question. Ooh. One of my bikes is a 2016 Scout, and we were talking about Indians today because we brought back bikes over from the warehouse, and so Sleepy and I did the proceed gaily forward, and we rode TNT 135s on the freeway. And Steve, what do we know about TNT 135s now?
They go exactly 76 miles an hour no matter what you do.
Indicated.
Indicated.
And according to my GPS watch, it was 71 mph.
Okay.
So 71 actual miles per hour.
MIPS.
Mips. Yep.
71 MIPS. But the more important thing is, what keeps you from going any faster? Is it wind resistance?
No.
Is it ultimate gearing? No. What is it?
It's the rev limiter.
The fucking rev limiter.
Yep.
Steve and I were playing Battle of the Rev Limiters. The trick was who could get the bike to almost activate the rev limiter and then back off 1 RPM.
One. If you can keep
One
it there.
RPM. If you could keep it from tapping the rev limiter.
One curly.
Yes, exactly.
But
one
the thing
blonde
is,
one.
when you're cruising that fast,
Right.
if you fuck it
You're
up
bumping around.
just like 1 millimeter, you're at 70. Like you drop
Exactly.
5 instantly.
The second the rev limiter kicks in, you lose 5 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Because we're not dainty little angels. We're not people cutting through the wind. We are.
There has to be a term for that. It's like velocity with bike. Because I noticed that when I do the Lake Erie Loop, you get it singing and you could get it up to 75, maybe 80, and it was good.
That's your override.
Blip off the throttle once, and now you got to work all the way. You go
all
down
the
to
way back.
70, and you got to fight it all the way back up.
And that's when they say you're not cutting through the wind, you're fucking assaulting it. Full frontal assault on the wind at 76 indicated, 70 miles per hour. And it was such a funny thing because I would gain on Steve and I'd be in a full tuck, Cannonball Baker, arm behind my back, and then just
Gone.
and instantly on the rev limiter, and I would just lose my place.
What's that, 10 grand?
10-2.
10-2.
10-2 as best as I can tell.
Yep.
It is.
Oh,
it
that's a
is-
shame because that bike could go at least 10.5.
Oh no,
That bike could go at least
we
12.
determined, we determined like it's not
Easily.
even hurting itself at 10.
Yeah, and I mean, mind you, these bikes are completely broken in.
Yeah.
These bikes are fully serviced and completely broken in.
Yep.
Yeah. No.
So we need a new CDI for them.
Yeah, we
Well,
do.
there is. There's a Bazzer programmable ECU and everything. And I mean, you can play with everything. It comes with an app, and you can do whatever you want. It's
So
pretty cool.
it's probably for the economy or what it's spec to.
I think that
Mostly?
the idea would be longevity.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I think the idea is longevity. Single cylinder.
They don't put a rev limiter in there for only one reason.
There's only one reason, baby. There's only one reason,
Yeah.
and that's to get it through its warranty period.
True.
Right? Because I think if it had no rev limiter, it would make it 1 week. I think it would be. I think everybody. If this bike came with no rev limiter, it would be 16,000 RPM valve float, and blown up.
But you know what
Yeah.
I did learn?
Right.
We got passed by a guy with one of those 36-inch front wheel Harleys,
We
like
did.
bagger
A donk.
things, you know.
It's called a
And there
donk.
were people on the side of the road.
Yeah.
And two gorillas fucking a football got more looks than the fucking
Yeah.
Harley.
And
Everybody
we're in
was
our
looking
matching.
at us.
We're in our matching green livery, so we basically look like a couple of underdeveloped Triumph Speed triples.
We looked like we were just left our honeymoon and we were traveling on our matching bikes.
Yes. Well, we just came
Over
from
a twist.
We just came from the moped store.
Yeah. Right.
Yes. Here we go. Going to jaunt around. It's going to be wonderful on our little mini bikes. It's going to be awesome.
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, it was. It was.
It
So,
was
and the
definitely-
funny thing is, we're ripping down the freeway at 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And we're
in rush hour traffic.
in rush
mind
hour
you.
traffic,
Yeah.
and we are passing shit.
Yes.
So we're not like hanging, being safe. No. We were straight up. If we saw a hole in traffic, we were taking it, and it was so funny because on the on ramp, we waited until the third braking marker on the on ramp to get onto the freeway. So we were winning practice. Like the joke was hilarious, but this might as well be a TT course.
Yeah.
Because the way Steve and I are abusing it. And when we hit the on-ramp for 480,
Yeah, that was good.
we are rev limiter in every single gear. And the front wheel comes off the ground in first and second and a little bit of third. Nobody's ever caned a 135cc bike harder.
No, it was fun.
It's a whole new race class. It's the Interstate 480 TT.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's so funny.
TNT.
The TNT. Yeah, the TNT 135. It really was fun.
But if we're taking more tomorrow, I forgot the fucking plates on the other bikes.
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
it's okay.
warehouse,
We have more
so-
plates.
All right,
Yeah,
good.
we're fine. There are always more plates. And if it's not plates from this shop, it's plates from the last shop or the
Yeah.
shop before that.
Sure.
Nobody cares.
No.
But it is funny when we get to the warehouse and we're both sitting there and we're like got that pulse at about 120 beats per minute. And we're sitting there like, God damn, that was fun.
Yeah, it was.
And nobody wants to concede even when we're pulling into the parking lot of the warehouse.
no.
So even the arrival into the parking lot of the warehouse is done at 10
It's aggressive, yeah.
It's aggressive. It's aggressive. So it was a really fun.
How many miles
Well, it's
is
good
it?
to know that Steve's finally getting to ride the way he wants to ride.
Oh, well, on this bike, John, on this particular bike, you don't have to leave anything on the table.
How many miles is it from here to there?
I don't know. Not
like
a lot.
9?
It might
maybe
be
8?
Yeah, it's like
it might
9.
be-
Okay,
not
yeah.
much.
Because I'm a couple blocks from
You're
there.
literally 2 blocks from the
We
Yeah, it's like 9
burned the
miles.
knobs, like the new knobs.
Yeah, I told you.
They're
Yeah,
no longer
oh,
on the
shit.
Oh, yeah. These bikes have been properly broken in. Okay, so back to Dave Osterday's question. So he's got this 2016 Scout. He's put 1,000 miles on it this year.
Nice.
Okay. I maintained the battery all winter on a tender. I started up once in a while, etc. I had it out one night last week, rode about 90 minutes, somewhere around 50 miles. Everything was great. The next morning, I came out to start the bike, and it acted like a dead battery. Then completely died. No response, no nothing. At this point, I'm pissed. This is now 3 years in a row where I've protected the battery all winter, and it dies. I took it out to try and get a warranty claim on it, which, of course, is a stretch with the 12-month period, right?
Yeah.
And before you ask, yes, it's a Yuasa battery. So the shop load tests the battery. Perfect marks. So maybe it's the starter. Maybe it's in the electrical system. Who knows? So get an appointment to bring the bike in. But, of course, before that day comes, I throw the battery back in the bike, and it starts up beautifully. I've now put another 100 miles on it or so, and it started it 5 or 6 times over. Any ideas what this could be? Should I still have diagnosis performed on the bike? Okay. Let's take you through the basics. First of all, I think the battery always has been good. And I think that what happened is you may have had a not so great connection at one of the terminals. And either it was not fully tightened down, it was like intermittent, or maybe you had the lead for your battery tender was causing a lack of continuity at the terminal.
I hate to chase a onesie type thing though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It happened once. You
Right.
put it back in. It's been fine.
Right.
You almost have to like muscle it out till it happens again.
Yeah.
And while it's in that state,
Right.
then really
check
try.
it.
Then
Check
try
it,
to
yep.
see like.
And here's my favorite part of it. He said it. He said, I had it on a tender all winter. I started it up once in a while, etc. So
it's working.
It's consistent,
Yeah.
right?
that would keep the battery alive.
He took it out and he rode it about 90 minutes. That battery's fully fucking charged. There's no doubt about it. The next morning, I came out to start the bike and it acted like a dead battery.
Well, that to me sounds like it could have been a limit switch or
It could be a number of things.
Right.
Kickstand wasn't up.
But
Kill
it
switch
acted
was
like
on.
a dead battery,
yeah.
Key
and then it completely died.
ignition switch is a
Right.
little fiddly. It didn't click quite to on.
I'm going to say if his whole display died,
But I have to think as soon as it didn't start, he turned it off and turned it on a couple times and
Wait, I
tried
have
it
a
again.
question.
right.
Did he put it back on the tender overnight and then it worked? Because maybe he's got a bad charging system, and so when he's riding it, it's killing the battery. But then when he
Well,
got
that-
home, he put it on the tender.
exactly
and
right.
It put enough juice.
So here's how you do it. So go to Harbor Freight with a coupon for a free voltmeter.
Meter, yeah.
And if they don't have the coupon for the free voltmeter anymore,
Pay
you
the
spend the
$3.
$5 and buy one. That voltmeter is literally all you need to do to check your battery. So then take your side panel off and test the battery sitting there. So take it off the battery tender. It should be at least 12.5 volts.
Or you
About
could just
when
use your battery tender lead to check it right there.
Yeah, check another. Yep.
And see if it's running. Wouldn't it be about 13.8 or something if it was
So
running?
this is what yes, this is exactly right. So we're going to check it static. We're going to check it just sitting there, nothing turned on, whatever. So you're going to go up, you're going to use your battery meter, your voltmeter. You're going to hook it up to the voltmeter. Should be 12.5 or better.
12.3 would be the right
That
number.
would be where you'd wanna
Anything
see it.
under 12 would be a problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now you know you're starting with a number, and that number, remember it, because it's going to come into play in about a minute and a half. So now you remember whatever number it is. Let's say for the sake of John's thing, it's 12.32. So it's 12.32, yay. Start the bike up. Okay, now the bike is sitting there idling. Now you should have your battery terminal leads, go and touch them to the terminals again on your voltmeter, and now look at it. Is it saying 12.7? That's a good sign. That means when the bike is idling, it's charging. Yay.
Right.
Okay, now rev the bike up a little bit. And when you rev the bike up a little bit, it should go up, and it may go as high as 14.5 to 14.7 volts. Okay, so if it goes above 14.7, you've got a problem.
Yeah.
It won't look this way, but you have a problem. But if you rev that thing a little bit, your voltmeter should show around 14 volts.
You don't want to see 16 or something
Exactly.
like that's
Right.
overcharging.
Now-
that's unregulated.
If you look down and it shows 12.2, now you've got a problem. So when the bike is idling, you're getting a decent charge or a little bit of a charge. But when you're revving the bike, you're actually losing
Not
energy.
charging,
You're
yep,
using
yep,
electricity.
yep.
So when the bike is in its idle circuit, you're getting voltage regulator function. But when you rev it up a little bit, then that's a blown diode in your voltage regulator, and now your voltage regulator is not regulating at full chat. So that's time for a new voltage regulator. Now all that can be tested in your driveway with a $5 multimeter.
The other thing too is you can have the voltmeter hooked to it and hit
Yep.
the starter button.
Yep.
and make sure it doesn't go below 10 volts when it's turning over.
That's a very good. Yeah, it's a very good
If
tip.
it goes below 10 volts, it's probably a weak battery.
If it drops to like 4 or 5 volts, then you know you've got a weak battery on your hands. And if the battery's a couple of years old, he said the battery's a year old. Right?
And I believe in Yuasas. They are a pretty good battery, I think, still.
Well, he does say he said, so, I've put about 1,000 miles on it a year, but he did say, he does not say that the battery's a year old. He says that this similar symptom has happened 3 years in a row. And he did say, this is now 3 years in a row where I've protected the battery all winter and it dies. So I would say it is a good idea to clean those terminals because especially after winter, if you've had a battery tender on, there is oxidation because you are pulsing the battery. So you could very well just have a bad connection. And that is a very clear symptom of what you said. An oxidized terminal not making great contact will give you the exact symptoms you've described, where it's very weak and then it goes fucking flat. But then you take the battery out and you test it and the battery's fine. So that's just dirty fucking terminals. Clean that shit up and put some lube on them. Put some grease on them. Dielectric grease.
Dielectric.
Yeah, dielectric grease on them. It's, you don't need to go to the sex store for that shit.
What do you think about this, Steve?
I already said what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the shop load tested.
No, I just said.
Yeah.
I think it's either a terminal, a terminal or a limit switch.
Right.
I mean,
and I also
if
think
the battery's good, the battery's good.
And I like the fact that he says he put another 100 miles on it and he started it 5 or 6 times over, which tells me, yeah, you had a bad connection and now you don't anymore. Right. Because one of the funny things is people will complain about this every year at the shop. We hear this in the springtime. They'll be like, yeah, I took my battery. I pulled the battery out to test it. And then when I put it back in, the symptom went away. I was like, because when you put it back in, you cleaned the terminals.
The one other thing could be a bridge plate.
It could be.
If you had a bridge plate,
and that's
it would give him that. And then when he moved it, the bridge broke, or like the bridge, he cleared the bridge.
So some things to take note of if it happens again is when you turn the key on, is your dash lighting up? Mm. If your dash is lighting up, but you're just not getting any start, that could actually go to your solenoid or something like that, where it's a good battery and it's getting electrons to everywhere it's supposed to, but when you hit your starter button, it's not, the solenoid's either not clicking or it's clicking and not making contact.
Exactly.
Or you're not making a limit someplace.
And then they're also, like on my Triumph, there's notorious that the actual power runs through the key. All the power to the bike runs through the key, and it's known to burn out.
Yep.
Well, and also check that your wiring and also your harness for your tender is zip tied, that it's not dangling. You're pulling straight from the battery or whatever it's coming from. Because the fact that you're charging it and non-charging it and moving shit around and the vibration of the bike, make sure that all the cables are zip tied down and just make sure that it's not.
All those little ring connectors
dangling.
Act like wrenches.
Yep.
If you tug on them.
Yep. And today, Sleepy and I went to the warehouse today to bring back some bikes, and one of the bikes we brought back was a 750 Shadow.
It's the worst bike I've ever ridden. I don't know.
3 stars.
Dude, it was like a marshmallow with a pogo stick attached to it.
I've been riding on a moon shadow.
Seriously. And then the clutch is nothing. Oh, go. There's no slipping.
The friction zone is about 1 millimeter.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible.
Yeah, it's just, and it's, we all know the Shadow. We can all talk at great lengths about the Shadow 750.
Wheeling and jumping on a moon shadow.
And I chose wisely. I took the Vulcan 800 Drifter, which I love, and I love that bike, and I love it a lot.
I'll tell you this though. That bike has never gone that fast in its entire life.
Yeah, I did. We got maximum chooch out of that bike today. The Vulcan got proper Italian tune-up today.
Dude, you did. There was like a black smoke screen behind you.
Oh, shit.
Hit the ass.
No, so much. The bike is like 6.5 pounds lighter now, and it was all carbon.
Yeah.
The
Because the
valve-
owner who we all know and love and appreciate, only goes to like 2,000 RPMs.
Right.
Like,
He thinks it's a diesel.
I swear to God, giant valve-shaped cookies came out of the motor. It's like giant valve-shaped rings of carbon.
Yeah.
Were just escaping out of the muffler. It's like, it's such a fun bike.
did you see when you went under the bridge and it backfired? The dude that hit
So
the deck?
I did that, right?
Yeah, you decelled and
So I hit the kill switch because we were going under that bridge. So I was in it to win it, and I had I had something like 47,000 RPM on because there's no tax, so you get to say whatever you want. And I knew we were coming to the bridge, and I was like, this is going to be awesome.
Take it to the bridge.
Take it to the bridge. And I knew Steve was the perfect range behind me. Yeah. So I whipped it up and then rode the kill switch the whole way into the bridge.
Let it load up nice.
Let it load up nice. And right in the middle of the bridge, I dropped the kill switch out and threw that spark back into that fire pit. And it just boomed like a mortar went off.
Dude, the dude hit the ground.
The guy dropped. This dude dropped to his knees. He thought somebody had just shot him with a Barrett Light 50. The sound was massive.
I used to do that with my FJ60.
Yeah.
And the one day I did it, the muffler opened up like it just went, and the muffler was like a flat piece of metal.
Like a cartoon cigar.
Yeah, it was.
I had a 68 Chevy. It was like straight pipe cherry bombs on it. And we have this really steep hill going down through town. And I just do it like 20 times. I bang, 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 bang.
When I got Steve with it, I looked back in the mirror. As soon as I threw the spark back at it, I knew it was going to happen, and it went bang louder than I thought it was going to bang. Honestly, and I looked Steve, and Steve's just watching that dude, and that guy was like, seriously, he thought there was a hate crime.
Yeah.
PTSD just kicked back.
Kicked in.
Yeah, right. So that was very funny.
Yeah, that was funny.
Diano Churko said, I don't know if John can read this.
You want me to read this?
Go ahead. Can you read it?
I'm going to have to get up for this.
I'll go ahead and read it.
Go ahead.
Read it.
Yeah.
You asked for it. John, you're the CL360 the podcast.
He's got a rattling cam chain.
Obsolete the minute you were produced with top-end lubricating problems. Ooh. At least Honda issued a recall and realized its mistake after 2 years.
Thank you.
Sleepy.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Will somebody please put you on a boat? There's got to be a way to make you age, i.e. grow up faster.
That's impossible, man.
Grumpy sewer guy.
Oh, shit.
You hired a CL360 in a world perfectly capable CB350s. As should be expected from a guy whose garage sounds like the land of misfit toys.
Yeah, well, that's good.
And it is.
Yeah.
Chris. A Janius? Really? Was the drifter not pretendy enough for you?
Yeah, that's good.
Perfect.
Oscar.
Oh, no.
Like I tell my kids, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. It doesn't look good. Phil, you're the corn that makes the shit float. But my real beef with you isn't even motorcycle related. Neither is your podcast half the time. It's the 3,000 pounds of 69 Econoline that's planted in my yard, depressing real estate values for 4 blocks. I drove by the thing for years as it sat sinking into some other fool's yard. Then one day I drove by listening to the podcast and you said something about yours. I stupidly took it as a sign. From who, I'll never know. But there it is now in my yard, scaring children and lowering real estate agents. Who am I kidding? I love that ugly pop-topping bastard. Someday I'll bring it by so you can enjoy the shimmer of Type F in your parking lot.
Nice.
Don't worry, it'll be a long while before she's able to make it from Maine to Ohio. I actually really
he's a maniac.
He's a maniac. I actually really enjoy the podcast. Thanks for a few laughs and some motorcycle insight. Diano, a Patreon from way back.
Yeah, fuck yeah, man. That was good.
P.S. Somebody decided I needed to attend a conference in Cleveland in August.
Oh.
That person does not work for me. Maybe I'll stop by if the air conditioning is working. I'll call first.
Nice.
If you ever make it to Maine, let me know.
Cool.
Well done.
Yeah, well done.
Well
Well
done.
Yeah,
We
that was
love
good.
that.
Wamba, wamba.
I like it. So on that, I think it's safe that we should tell folks that it's time to ride fast
And take
chances.
Ba, 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 ba.